Now, as we know from life experience, listening can be very difficult to do. And there's lots of reasons why it can be so hard for us to listen. At times, everyone has difficulties staying completely focused on listening to someone speak. And one of the reasons could be noise. And noise tends to be one of the biggest factors that interferes with listening. This is anything that interferes with listening. It could be physical, psychological, physiological, or semantic. So physical noise consists of the sounds in an environment that interfere with someone's ability to hear. So it could be construction noises outside, or a plane flying overhead, or a microphone ceasing to work. Those sorts of things would be considered physical noise. Psychological noise are internal distractions that the receiver is listening to. So the receiver, the listener, could be preoccupied with their own personal problems, with the fact that maybe they have to go pick up their children right after class, so they're a little bit distracted. Or they think that class should be ending really soon, so they're distracted by that. Or they're looking outside during a summer class and thinking how beautiful it is and how they'd rather be by the pool, right? There's lots of thoughts that happen in our heads on a daily basis, and oftentimes those thoughts and that daydreaming can stop us from being able to listen. If we're dealing with physiological noise, this is when we have distractions that are caused by the listener's own body. So, for example, if you're in a class around lunchtime and you haven't eaten yet, your stomach might be distracting you from being able to listen. Or if you have a headache, that might be disabling you from being able to listen to what the speaker is saying because you're so focused on the pain that's in your head. And finally, your noise might be semantic. So this happens when the listener is confused over the word choice that a speaker has made. In other words, they don't understand the message. They're not sure why the speaker chose to say things this way, or maybe they are confused about a specific word that the speaker used, and so they're focused on trying to understand what that specific word means, and therefore they miss the whole next sentence because they're like, wait, did they mean this? Did they mean that? So sometimes we can get choked up just by the message itself. Another reason that we have trouble listening is because of our attention span. We need frequent breaks nowadays. Modern audiences have lost the ability to sustain attention to a message. Even if it's something that we're deeply interested in, we can still get distracted. We pause to do something else. We get out our phones and take a look at them. We take a drink of water. We stretch. We look out the window. All of these things can really interfere with listening. And that's why, when I'm creating these video lectures, I put videos in every once in a while that isn't me speaking, so that you have a break from me and you have the ability to pause these videos if you need to take a break, right? But that attention span, if we are listening in real life, can really interfere with our ability to listen. In addition, we might be dealing with receiver biases. So sometimes we jump to conclusions about the speaker or the topic that's being discussed, and good listening involves keeping an open mind and withholding judgment until the speaker has completed their message. We don't want to jump to conclusions about what we think that they're going to say, or jump to conclusions based on what the speaker is wearing or anything like that. Or coming up with the idea that, I don't need to listen because I already know what I think about this particular subject. That's a receiver bias. We need to put those biases aside and be willing to listen to arguments that are not our own in order to become more well-rounded listeners. And finally, we might have listening or receiver apprehension. And this is similar to communication apprehension. In fact, it's part of communication apprehension, but this is on the other side now. Rather than you being anxious to speak, you're anxious to listen. For example, if you're going to a lecture about a specific topic and you already know that this topic has caused trouble for you in the past, or you don't even understand the topic based on the title of the lecture, right? That might cause you some receiver apprehension. You're like, oh my gosh, this is just going to be so complicated and I'm not going to be able to follow it all, etc., etc. And having those kind of thoughts creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think that you're going to have a difficult time understanding, then you're going to go in with that expectation and maybe fail to see some of the cues that the speaker is using to make your ability to listen easier. So these are just some of the reasons why listening can be so difficult for us. We deal with noise, we deal with a lack of attention span, we deal with biases in our own heads, and we have to learn how to get past those in order to be more effective listeners.